it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Coffee, Cannabis, and Consciousness, cordially known as the C3 Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Reno. Alongside me is my co-host, Ian Thompson.
Hello, what's going on?
Hey, and also we have a special guest today, Louis Paduano. How you doing, Lou?
Very good. I appreciate you guys having me on today.
It's awesome. We really appreciate you coming on. And today we have a great show lined up for you. We are testing out Fuel America Coffee Roasters Patriots blend. And then for our cannabis, we are trying the Tropicana Punch. Also from Farmer Jeff. Shout out Farmer Jeff. Thanks again for donating to the show. Follow him at Microbe Farming Terp Chaser on Instagram. He's got a lot of, his processes of cultivation that you might be interested in checking out.
Yeah, man, I was checking out his page today. It's actually pretty interesting stuff. Some nice looking flora and fauna. So definitely want to check his page out. Again, shout out Farmer Jeff. Again, this bud Tropicana Punch looks fantastic.
Yeah, and we brought Lou on today to talk about the topic of consciousness, and that is mindset, which can be extremely powerful. So we're excited to hear what you have to say, Lou. I know you're very passionate about the topic. So
yeah, for sure. I've come to find out that changing your mindset and the way you see the world is the way the world actually is to you. Mindset is probably the most important thing, at least to me. It's by changing my mindset, I've actually changed my reality. And so I would like to share some of the processes that I've used, and maybe they can help other people to enhance their lives.
Yeah, that's what we're about here.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, guys, we're just going to get right into it with the Fuel America Coffee Roasters Patriots blend. It was runner-up to our contest, but that does in no way, shape, or form dictate the quality.
Can't be any worse than the New England Patriots football team, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? We're going to let that blasphemy go, and I won't reach across this table. But we got it steeped in here in the French press. Looks really great. Has a rich brown color to it, almost like a walnut brown.
Where do you say this was from again, Josh?
Yeah, so they're another local roaster. They're out of Worcester, Mass.
Okay.
Is their main headquarters.
Worcester.
I did find out a little bit about them. So they're opening up a lot of new locations in Massachusetts. They're also in Brighton. There's a few other locations opening up soon in Weymouth, Alston, and Waltham.
So mostly out east.
Yeah. Massachusetts, but mostly out east.
Okay.
Central Mass. It's a franchise, which means basically, I think Worcester is the main location, but they franchise them out to people.
Okay.
So I think that's one of the things why there's so many opening up. Let me give you a little bit about the company here. Fuel America. We celebrate the American can-do spirit and a diverse melting pot. We exist for those who seek inspiration and share friendships. For those who work hard and play hard, we are those who live their lives to the fullest every day. Fuel America is a gathering place where we celebrate our American heritage and those who built this country. We see ourselves in them and are reminded we're all on our own personal journey every day. At Fuel, we live to ignite your journey. So I like that. Especially
that doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy, right?
Yeah. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th, yeah.
That's a perfect brew for today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the Patriots blend, I found out a little bit about that. So it is a Brazilian Oberon and Colombian Excelso blend. So the Oberon and Excelso terms, I did find out a little bit about that. So Brazilian Oberon, it's a blend that consistently captures the qualities of the region Brazil known as the Cerrado region. It's a creamy body, sweet chocolate, and citric notes with a light acidity based off the elevation. So.
What do we got a elevation on that?
We do. It's 1,250.
I was gonna say
meters above sea level.
Does that mean they're grown on a mountain?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the Brazilian side of it, and then the Colombian side.
A lot of coffee actually. A lot of the coffee flavors come from based on elevation, so they'll taste differently depending. That's why I was asking them. I was like, yeah, because we've been kind of trying to keep track and sidetrack on like how high are these coffees we're drinking, and like how does it affect the taste, and kind of figure out if we get a personal preference of like a certain
based off of elevation.
Yeah, based off of how high it's grown, you know. Yeah, I'm trying to gauge my Goldilocks zone, like where I like the coffee I drink. You know,
I think you guys are going to end up possibly changing the way that people look at the way they drink their coffee. Also, you know what I mean?
I'd hope so. I mean, I'm just trying to. I'm hoping that people listening learn as much as I've been learning about coffee, because I was just like the most casual coffee drinker, like out there. Really, until I started doing this. So
yeah, I mean, one of the goals was for us to learn a little bit more about, you know, something we engage in every day. You know, realizing, right, like you drink coffee and you smoke weed every day, and it's like I don't know shit about either of these things. So
same thing with the cannabis. I feel like all my cannabis knowledge is not like book learned. It's all like stoner. It's like stoner anecdotal stoner things that you hear when you're like in a rotation with your friends, like from whenever. But that's why I like, dude, I definitely like know the people that are just like that know so much about like the science behind that shit, and it's just like I can just admit like I just don't know. We'll know more as we go on.
Yeah, and with this Fuel
we're
America,
still evolving.
Yeah, we're still evolving, but I mean, as far as the other half of this Patriots blend, so we have the Brazilian side, and then we have Colombian side of it, which when I was reading this, and it was like, okay, the Excelso bean or Excelsior made me think of Stan Lee, but the Colombian Excelso bean, it actually doesn't have to do with a cup profile. It's actually a grading term for exportable coffee from Colombia. So it's basically, it denotes that
it's like the top quality coming out of
the
country.
The coffee has all been hand sorted,
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's only the highest quality beans. So that's so if something is Excelso, Colombian Excelso,
right,
it's good shit. But let's get into it. Let's see how this tastes. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. I've cheated. I already had some.
I'm gonna be honest. I drink coffee possibly twice a month. So
Word.
Yeah. So see,
we've had somebody on that doesn't drink coffee at all. So it's like
it's not a requirement of the show, but it'd be nice to get fresh perspective.
With a fresh palate. What do you think? I mean, first initial thoughts on the taste.
Well, it tastes good.
You know what I get from it is like I definitely. So you know how we talk about like the bite from coffees at first?
Yeah.
So that initial kick of the flavor, I definitely can taste that citrusy taste, like the
comes on strong for sure.
The
like
piney aftertaste.
Yeah. I don't really get. It says rich and chocolatey, and honestly, I don't taste any chocolate at all.
Yeah, I don't taste that
really
either. It's a little bit more bold than the Red Barn blend. Like the Red Barn blend was kind of like you said, standard issue type of coffee. Like
I couldn't drink this every
This
day.
has a little bit of a more bold flavor to it for sure.
A
more robust flavor.
It's definitely maybe a little too intense for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of strong. I think it's tastes better than a lot of the blends I drink at work.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, and that's one thing too. I've said on past episodes, I was like, oh my god, like just the coffee I drink at work compared to when I'm on the show and I'm drinking the coffee, like it's night. You can't even.
It's night and day.
You can't even compare.
Well, they got a little bit here too about Fuel America, they have a little bit about, the source and the Colombian and Brazilian blend. They say here, so we source our drip coffees from Colombia and Brazil. In Colombia, they dry the coffee beans in the sun after depulping them. This results in a bright, citrusy flavor. In Brazil, they dry the coffee beans in the sun with the pulp still surrounding the bean, resulting in a deep, chocolatey note. This Colombian and Brazilian combination delivers consistently smooth and satisfying flavors for the palate.
I feel like I could taste some of the chocolatey flavors I get from dark baking chocolate.
Okay,
We saw at work.
Yeah, kind of more of like the bitter chocolate. Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Well, so I'll say that it's definitely a bitter coffee. I don't know. I really don't taste the chocolate, but it definitely is. Maybe I don't know, but it's definitely bitter. So
yeah,
definitely that's like the biggest probably attribute I'd like say on it. It's like definitely on the bitter side.
yeah. The acidity is low. It's not hard for me. It's not hard to drink, but clearly more robust than the last episode as far as the coffee. The chocolatey notes. Now that you mentioned the bitter chocolate, like baking chocolate, I can taste that on the aftertaste. So yeah, initial citrus kick of flavor, settling out to a bitter chocolate taste. That's a good little combination. I don't know, but not your favorite.
No, not my favorite we've tried so far, but it's not bad. I really can't. It's not a bad cup of coffee. It's just not my cup of Joe,
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely after like drinking a few sips and like allowing it to kind of dominate the senses, the citrus dominates the most to me. Like I don't know if that translates to like what you would say is acidity, but the citrus taste of it's a bright flavor, you know? Yeah.
I'd agree with that. And did you go to Worcester to get this, or were you able to get this locally at?
Oh, I got that at Stop and Shop too.
All right, so
Yeah.
so,
Which is
you
cool.
can find this at a supermarket.
Also, side note, River Valley Co-op in East Hampton just opened up.
Oh, shit.
So I'll probably be purchasing most of the coffees from there now. That way, locally sourced grocery store, locally sourced roaster, and just
You can't go wrong with
keep
that.
it all in the family.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
That's actually where I work, but in Northampton.
Oh, word. Okay. Yeah, that's
shit.
awesome.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Shout out to Co-op.
See, like that was manifested into happening. That moment, probably.
I was going to mention that we have many local blends that River Valley supports.
All right, next time Lou comes on, he's bringing the coffee.
Yeah. It's not cheap, man. This good stuff's not cheap. Yeah, guys. So this is Fuel America Coffee Roasters. I mean, overall, if you like something a little bit more bold and robust,
This is definitely, I think, for the adventurous coffee drinker.
yeah, for someone who enjoys the bitterness of coffee and as opposed to something a little more sweet, this will give you that fix. But very well made, fresh smell, citrusy, rich taste, with a bit of bitterness. You guys will like it. That's small batch, locally roasted, premium Fuel America coffee, Patriots blend for the 4th of July.
I can tell you, too, because I don't generally consume caffeine, even from a couple
This is
sips.
a lot of caffeine.
Yeah, I feel like it's fairly strong. That could be.
No, I was gonna
don't
say the
drink.
same thing because I haven't had any caffeine today yet either, and
Yeah.
I was kind of like feeling a little down on the way over here, and I'm about like halfway through this cup of coffee, and I'm kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it gives you the eyebrow raise.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
okay. Hey, I'm here now.
I'm alert.
All right.
I'm very alert, so I get it. So that's not just you, Lou. That's just this, and that's something I wish I could find out too. I don't know does it tell you like the caffeine milligrams like per cup? Like, I'd be curious to find out if it's a little. It has a lightning bolt on it, so that makes me think that it's like extra charge.
Yeah, the bag's pretty cool looking.
Yeah,
too.
nah, facts.
It's on our
So-
Instagram, guys. If you want to see the visual of the branding, so you know what to look for at the grocery store, and also it is pictured with the cannabis we'll be trying out today. Check out our Instagram on Podcast C3. Just give us a follow, guys. We'd really appreciate it, and like and subscribe as well.
Yeah, it just gives you guys a good opportunity to see what we're seeing, and just a little interaction.
Yeah, so enough of that plug. Let's get to the bud. And again, thanks Farmer Jeff for donating to the show. I mean, the quality of this cannabis, guys, we can't even do it justice. You gotta go see it for yourself. I mean, it is, like I said, it's no fucking around here. Like, this Farmer Jeff knows what he's doing. He knows how to cultivate. This isn't some stringy homegrown that your buddy grew. Sorry to your buddy, but Farmer Jeff gave us a real dense, harvest here with the buds. We're going to move on to cannabis here, guys. Just right out the rip. I mean, the coffee was great, but now it's time to get into the good stuff, and that's the sweet smell of cannabis. And we've got the Tropicana Punch. I'm looking at it now. Very, very loaded with orange hairs here, but not like to the point where that's what it's consistent of. I mean, we got the nice dark green bud, as well. That's surrounded by these orange hairs. I'm just going to take a deep, deep smell of it. Ian, what do you think of this?
I think it looks very good. It's very oh shit, look at this one. This one is like all orange hairs. Farmer Jeff's got a good product. Shout out Farmer Jeff again. Appreciate it. Check out his Instagram too.
Farming.
Yeah,
microbe farming terp chaser.
Microbe farming terp chaser. Yeah, he's got a good product.
Between the two, right? Like, we had milk and cookies last episode. This Tropicana Punch, like, if you mixed a bunch of the buds, right, into a bag together, I feel like
a little weed salad.
Well, they're so definitive
you'd be able to pick them. Yeah,
you would be able to pick them apart and know which is which. Which I find very cool. You can
tell they're very distinct. They're very distinct strains, and I like that too because it's not all the same strain, and they're just throwing different names on it. Like, this is something, you know what I mean? Though it's like it's legit.
Yeah, they've both been pushed to their full potential. It looks like, and as far as that goes, it makes me think like, okay, Farmer Jeff really took the time and care for both of these individual plants. Because they have such personality and they've grown to be so identifiable that that's what makes me think. Like, there just must have been so much time and care put into each of these.
No doubt.
I wonder if he uses different soil for each one. That's something that my boy that grows told me about, that he uses.
I think I would imagine different strains probably do better in different types of environments depending on like where they probably originated and where they kind of like, where their like genealogy comes from for sure. Like I said, I don't know. I'd imagine, but...
Yeah, well, Farmer Jeff has an all organic growing method. So like on his Instagram, you'll see like he actually also like cultivates worms.
I saw that. And I was gonna say I saw he had like a fistful of worms. Yeah. Like I was like, dude, that is gnarly.
Yeah,
like
I'm not even sure what that's all about, but it's like
soil.
For the soil. And so I mean, even from the very, very basic, I mean, he's all about it.
Because that's how it works, right? It's like worms. Like they eat the soil, and like what they shit out is like the nutrient. It's like good nutrients,
right? And
like
they eat the bad stuff as well. Yeah.
Like they're like recycling the soil, like for the plant. Essentially, it's like cleaning through and then giving back the nutrients.
Yeah,
so, like,
it's what do they call that? Like a biome or no, when like an ecosystem,
like it's a symbiotic relationship.
Symbiotic relationship,
like a
exactly.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's far out. Yeah, so we're just gonna go into the topic of consciousness too while we smoke because I know Lou's got a lot he wants to get out, and obviously like I want him to get most of it out before we get too stoned. So we're gonna fire these up. Yeah. And Lou, you could just go ahead if you want to kind of break down a little bit what we're gonna talk about as far as what you've been working on over the past for as long as I know, for the past year or so, So
I'm super excited. I mean, you and I had a short conversation prior. You sent me some videos on kind of the realm of what you'll be talking about, and it really inspired me. Like mindset in general. Like I mean, it's hard to label it that, but obviously there's much more to it. And but I found it even just kind of like an introduction to what you sent me was inspiring, and I do mean that. Like it was palatable and easy to understand. And I think that, if anybody who's ignoring mindset as far as the power of it, it seems like willful ignorance because it seems like something easy to integrate. But yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. We're just lighting it up here, guys. And as far as this strain goes. I found a little bit about it. So it is an indica, 100% indica. It is a combination of the flagship strain, Tropicana cookies, and elite purple punch. The plant delivers intense aromas and flavors ranging from blue sports drinks all the way to red fruit punch concentrate. Let's see.
It does taste really fruity. FYI, it does. It's like it's more like it's like berry flavored to me. I don't know. It tastes like more like strawberry flavored almost.
Okay.
Like,
yeah. Well, with sports drink, kind of like a sugary.
That's what maybe. Like a fruit punch Gatorade. You know what I mean? I can get that.
Says here, Tropicana Punch has proven herself to be an excellent choice for hash making of all sorts, excelling in both solvent and solventless extractions. She is vigorous and very pest mold resistant, with a traditional indica growth pattern that produces rock-hard, super frosty buds. Growers should expect dark purple colors, insane triome production, pest mold resistance, strong yields, and a flower time of 70 days or much less. She can yield surprisingly well and is a breeze to trim. This girl has been a favorite of all who have tried her from the minute we released her. And that I'm getting that info off of NeptuneSeedBank.com, which they do have these strains and genetics for purchase. So if you guys are interested in growing, if that's something you feel passionate about, you want to add this to your farm here, NeptuneSeedBank.com, and you can get the seed for Tropicana Punch.
Really smells beautiful.
It's fantastic. I'm curious now that they said it makes good extract. Like, I want to see Farmer Jeff, if you're listening. You have been called on a mission. Your mission is to extract from this bud so that we can see what it looks like. Should you choose to accept this mission, we will be very grateful. Nah, but seriously, I'd love to see what it looked like after you blasted through it with something.
Yeah, like his Instagram really is telling. I mean, he's very forthcoming with his methods, and that's like I
like the transparency.
Yeah,
I like that. It's good. I like that. I'm a fan.
I didn't think I'd have such an appreciation for that, but I think now, because like we've learned a bit more about bud and even with the dispensaries, we have so much more access to it. I think like getting to see behind the curtain a little bit more about what's going into these products, instead of just like, it's cool, like the allure of all these different choices at a dispensary, but seeing how farmers are really taking care with this stuff is kind of like, it's inspiring in a way, because you see their passion, but it's also like gives you this kind of sense of security. Now, it's like, really where your shit's coming from.
It's like when we were kids and we watched Sesame Street, you'd find out how, how they milked a cow or something, or they'd teach you something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd go behind the scenes, like they would go to like a shoe factory or something. They'd be like, oh, like, Big Bird would take you to like a shoe factory. You got them big dumb bird feet. I like it. I think I like it a little better than the milk and cookies.
The taste wise?
Yeah.
It
has a more distinct taste. Like you said, I think the taste description, like the flavor profile from like what they were saying on Neptune Seeds is like, it's spot on exactly where I like milk and cookies. I wasn't really. I think milk and cookies had that more organic taste.
Yeah, totally natural type of taste.
This has a little bit less of that.
Yeah.
And just more of like a fruitier taste.
Yeah. Let me get a good rip here and see how I feel about that.
Seems to have hints of purple inside, like.
Yeah, well, I think the purple punch that there is a derivative from. I'm pretty sure it might if I remember correctly, it might have like relation to like Granddaddy Perp and stuff.
Yeah,
and like,
well, it's like a natural purple too. Like how like some buds I've heard like you can make any bud have purple in it if like you change the temperature of during the flowering process.
Sure.
And it's like a manufactured purple. But this is clearly part of the genetics of the plant. It's not something that's forced.
Right.
And I don't know what purple means on bud. Like if it's but oh, that bud's purple. It must be pretty good.
That definitely used to be my belief when I was younger.
Well, it's easy. It's like when people grow those buds. Like I've seen some like crazy ones on the internet. Like, and obviously I think a lot of them are like fake and shit or like some stupid Photoshop or whatever. But it's funny when they do that and they're like, "Yo, look at this like red weed, yo," and like it's like, dude, like legit. I'm like, dude, that can't be real.
You know, it's interesting. Because I still have the taste.
I'm already stoned.
I'm getting there. The eyes are getting heavy now. It's like
I'm drinking this coffee to like wake
I know.
myself
I'm like
up from this
speedballing
joint.
with this coffee. But no, I've noticed though, like with the complimentary taste of the coffee, because the coffee's bold and it's still on my palate. Like it tastes like I added like a sugar cube to my coffee.
Yeah, I think they pair good together. So I'm glad you said that. I was thinking it, but like, it does. Yeah.
Even the mood it's setting, the taste, this is a good...
It's balancing me out chemically, I think, more than anything. Like I said, the weed's kind of bringing me down, and this coffee's like, I'm like, take a hit of the joint, take a sip of the coffee, hit of the joint, sip of the coffee.
Yeah, great pairing. So guys, honestly, like, because we've tried a couple that didn't pair well, but as far as like, waking up, wake and bake with the coffee and the cannabis... I would pair this the Fuel Patriots blend with the Tropicana Punch. That it's got the nice bold, rich flavor in the coffee and the sugary, sweet taste in the bud. It really, really combines well. I'm enjoying that a lot.
Yeah, so you guys usually prefer Indica?
No, I'm gonna be honest. I prefer sativas because like I feel like it's better. It's a better mental stimulation for me, and I'm not. I don't know. I like them both, but for different reasons. But most of the time, a sativa is what's right for me, unless I'm like getting ready for bed or getting ready to like know I don't have anything to do. Like I'll smoke an indica, but like for the most part, I gotta have a sativa.
Mm-hmm.
And you just?
I lean towards sativas, but it's more so for me like certain strains. So like there's a Green Joker, which is a strain that I've gotten from this place called The Verb is the Herb, which is in East Hampton. It's a small dispensary.
Okay.
That, as far as like it being the most consistent, like it puts my mind in the most enjoyable place, and it kind of like inwardly, and then outwardly I'm still able to function in a way that is satisfying. So for me, it's really, I think, more about the strains. But I would say like if I had to like try a new bud, I would probably pick the sativa over the indica, if I'm looking for something else. But how about yourself?
No, I usually mess with sativa mostly myself. Generally smoke right before meditation, and I find that, like you said, different blends. Primarily, I really love Blue Dream.
Nice.
Blue Dream is freaking gold for meditation.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I will smoke indica, just like you said, before sleep, generally, or if I'm just about to chill, watch a movie, or what have you. I just, for myself, if I smoke too much indica, then I become useless for damn near the rest of the day. So
I know.
You get that couch lock, and you're like, oh,
For
shit.
sure.
That's why, if my schedule is cleared, I'll puff on it. And that's the same thing with like edibles too. And I'll take edibles. I need to be like just knowing that like I'm chilling.
you got time.
You know what I mean? Like I'm chilling. So, or
Yeah. Now you said you smoke a little bit before meditation.
Yeah. Pretty much before every meditation, besides my morning meditation.
Yeah.
In the morning, I get up and I meditate instantly. So
Josh hit up a float tank recently.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Like and so you sent me a video with Joe Dispenza talking about stressors, right? And in the float tank, like I hamper back to my experience there, like thinking about, like that's what was happening. Like I was transitioning from having like the cortisol in my brain releasing to having the more relaxation chemicals in my brain releasing. And I felt like the float tank was like a shortcut to like getting to that place and like being able to not like have that stressors on me anymore. And having less sets of like the body and all of that. But it was crazy. It was good. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times in Northampton, and the first time I was kind of it took a long time for me to actually be able to relax.
Did you get salt in your eye?
No, I don't think
That
so.
happened to be right away.
I just was. I smoked a lot and I was really high. I just couldn't get myself to relax in the water, for like 30 minutes. But once I finally did, I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And I knew the next time it was going to be great, which it was.
Yeah.
But scientifically, what's happening and what we're trying to do in meditation is you're going from beta brain waves, right, which is normal, everyday analytical thinking, and for our viewers, the way to think of it would be to look at if you took your pencil and like scratched up and down
Sharp squiggly lines.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
And then we're trying to transition into alpha, which are slower brain waves.
Yeah.
Slower,
More
rhythmic
like
patterns.
yeah, like wakes in the ocean.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yes. And so but meditation and definitely the float tanks it takes away all the external.
It's
stimuli.
like kind of like a shortcut, like you said.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying
you might say it changes your mindset.
right.
Which how's that for transition?
That's perfect.
No. I mean, we're moving on to consciousness, guys.
We're in the realm already.
Yeah,
we're in the realm.
We're talking mindset, and we're here with Louis Paduano. So, Lou, I'm excited to dive deeper into this. So, you change your mindset to materialize things in your life. Would you say like you're kind of, when you think something, you want to make it a reality, and so if you think good things, good things will generally happen. I mean, I know that's a layman's term, but could you go like deeper into like?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like what mindset is, or how you translate your mindset towards life into improving your life.
Yeah, so when you change your mindset, a change in mindset changes the way you see everything. So a good example of that is, say we both go to see a movie, right? Or all three of us go to see a movie, and we're watching the same exact movie, right? Well, let's say it's a horror movie, right? Mm-hmm. And Ian is a big horror movie fan. I've never really seen horror movies like that, so I have little experience with them. And you've seen a couple, right? So we're all watching the same movie, right? And so now to Ian, that movie was really awesome, right? Because he's a horror movie fan. He's used to seeing blood and gore and what have you. And so it was really enjoyable experience for him, right? But for me, if I haven't watched horror movies that much, or if I just don't like them in general, maybe it's a bit too gory for me, right? Or
Sure.
a bit too scary for me. So now the same exact movie created two totally different experiences, right? For
Right.
you felt really good about it, and it felt great, and it was just enjoyable, right? And then for me, someone who has little experience with that, it was really unenjoyable, right? Maybe it was too scary, and the whole time I wanted to leave. And so that just shows how, depending on the way you're looking at something, the way your mindset is.
Right. Like how you would view it, like how it translates to you, like how you receive the information.
Which is all that really matters, how it's received to you, right? Because then that translates into how you feel about it, and how you feel is really how we calculate our experience of the world, right?
Right.
Our feelings are a gauge of how good an experience was, how bad an experience was, or what have you. Yeah. And then
I definitely see what you're saying. That like that sense of like that feeling of shit. Now I'm lost my train of thought too. I'm so stoned right now.
Dude, that Tropicana Punch has got me fucking lit. All right, hold up. Mindset, right? So you have a course, right? You're building a course?
Yes. I'm creating a course called, the course is going to be called probably Next Level. And the reason being is because I believe that we are all the main characters in our own story. And so as a main character, you're constantly gaining experience, or XP. So let's look at it in terms of a video game.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. I love that analogy.
Games, right? And the reason I really love video games is because you get to take a character that starts off at level 0, or 1 generally, and build him into whatever, or her, excuse me, into whatever you would like it to be, right?
Sure.
It could be a warrior, a paladin, or whatever, or a mix of all of them. As a young kid, I really loved that because it gave me a sense of freedom. And I didn't realize that then, but it gave me a sense of control, right?
Right.
I had some control in my life, which I didn't feel like I had at the time. Well, what I didn't realize, though, is that our lives are actually just like that, right? When we learn something new, we're gaining experience points.
That's so trippy because you're like, you just kind of have to kind of know when you level up and take like those chances to entrust yourself and be like, yeah, I'm at that level now.
Yeah, I have that special
Like,
move that will beat the boss.
It'd be so much easier if we had that bar, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
said like, all right, you're at that level. But I guess like that's what's scary is like trusting your gut to be like, okay, like I'm ready for this next level. Like that's like I love that shit.
Well, this is another important thing about the way you see it too, right? I now see when I'm learning as training, right? So before I used to, or even say when you're going to the gym,
right?
You know, I didn't want to go to the gym per se because I felt like I had to work hard and it was something I kind of didn't want to do. But when I switched the way I looked at it and saw it as I'm training, I'm actually gaining XP,
right?
Heading towards the next level. It now became a pleasurable experience, right? Because I knew that I was going in there and I was focused on the gains as opposed to, so I was focused on the positives about it as opposed to what I perceived as were the negatives about it, right? Same experience. The only thing that shifted was the way I looked at it.
Sure.
And then with the shift in perception, shift in mindset, it became a whole different experience to me, you know? So in this, I find is really fascinating and super important because we can do this with anything in our lives, right? Especially what we perceive as bad or negative events, right? And they can, there are some things that can be really hurtful or painful at the time, but if we can take the time to reframe the way we're looking at it and find what was beneficial from it, later on it can become experience or a different experience.
Kind of like changing traumas. Like you can kind of like adjust and look the way you kind of, like if you look back on maybe past negative experiences and like things that may have like affected your life up until this point, kind of just look back, change the way, maybe change the perspective you're looking at it from, and maybe use those as like learning lessons instead of like negative like crutches to like kind of hold you back for like, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's really important because a lot of times we, especially the things that affected us the quote unquote most negatively, we relive those experiences by talking to our friends about them, our family about them, right? And when we do that, we're actually flooding our system again with those same unbeneficial chemicals,
right?
Like you were saying, cortisol, right? And,
right.
And so our body doesn't know the difference between reliving the experience in our mind
and the actual experience, right?
So you literally get the same exact
I never
flood
thought
of
about
chemicals,
right?
Shit,
right? So if you could switch the way you look at this bad experience, though, now the next time you think about it, you don't have to get flooded with all those unbeneficial chemicals. You could instead be flooded with good chemicals and feel good about it, you know, or at least feel neutral about it.
Right. You're just that's just alchemy at that point.
Yes, it is.
I love it. I love it, dude. That's great.
So, just as some proofs or examples of how shifting your perception can actually change your physical body, we have one of them being hotel workers. There were, I believe it was 2008. I'm trying to remember the time.
Yeah.
So the study was done by a woman named Ellen Langer, right? PhD.
Yeah.
She's actually a Harvard professor, and her at the time undergraduate student, Elia Crum, and they set up a study in 2007, or it was reported in 2007 in Psychological Science for anyone who wants to look this up, that there were 84 hotel maids, and they asked them how much they exercised, right? Again, they didn't believe that they exercised that much.
Right.
Although the amount of work they're doing at their job actually did meet the standards set up by the CDC and the Surgeon General's guidelines.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
So they gave the maids a rundown of calorie counts for various cleaning activities and put similar information where the maids could see it at work. Right? So this way, now they were told that, and then like you said, they seen it consistently over and over to help it be programmed into their mind.
Right.
So before they had the programming that we don't actually do that much. I'm at work, but
it's lazy work,
yeah,
and I'm you know what I mean. I'm not moving. I'm not burning as many calories as I should, or yeah. So
and then their mindset shifted to
Right.
knowing, oh, actually we do at least the required amount daily. And so after a month passed, the researchers followed up, and incredibly, the maids who had been giving the fitness information on average lost 2 pounds, had lower blood pressures, and overall were significantly healthier. Were based off of measurements of their body fat and their BMI index, body mass index, and waist to hip ratio, right? And so the only thing that changed was their knowledge. Right, just the fact that they now knew that what I'm doing every day actually is exercise.
they hung up a couple signs, and that was it. That's
right?
all it took.
And so it shows our power of our mind over our actual physical body, also.
Right.
To my knowledge, at least, Lou, and I'm pretty sure you can back me up. There's like 1,000,001 stories up just like that, as far as for different experiments done,
For sure.
and different like real life cases of like what people would call like miracles. You know what I mean? People would call like what some people would call a miracle. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
The mindset in general, like I had to change my mindset when I became a parent. Like, and it was one of those things where
Now,
you know,
I'm not a father, so I know you guys are both dads. Like, when you become a father, like, is that something? So you just said you had to change your mindset. That like, do you feel like that was more out of like instinct, or out of like was it something?
yeah,
I don't know how to phrase it really. Like,
there was an aspect to it that was 100% instinctual. There's
Right.
no doubt. Like like the switch flipped, you know?
yeah,
But it was the idea of like having a less selfish mindset, you know? Like I feel like I cared less about what I need and what about some other being, you know, like my son needed, you know? So,
Right.
And that in turn, it changed me in a way that, I don't know, like you definitely grow up fast, you know, like
Yes.
you have to make better decisions, and you learn a lot from like the past. But like you're saying, like the way that you look at those past mistakes or those past lessons, like it's different than like I would have, like maybe I would have been down on myself for it, like in the past, but like there's mistakes I've made in the past now that I look back as a father and I'm like, okay, I see the true lesson in those mistakes, and I have to teach that lesson to my son in that, you know, in a way that maybe like he'll understand or conceptualize. And that I thought was an amazing thing. And it just allows me to not to make the same mistakes also.
Yeah.
And you know, not everybody needs that, you know, like, but my child did that for me, you know, like it forced me to be in that space.
Yeah, definitely. Or for me, I can tell you that I was very probably self-centered and just, I guess, quote unquote selfish. Whereas I, you know, in the aspect of I put my own needs above anyone else's at that time, I was very just self-centered. But once my son, at the time I had twins, but when my first son came out, it just seemed like it shifted, right? And instead of the universe being about me, it
Right.
all just became about them. And like, and then there's also a conscious aspect of it too, right? Because now, and then all of a sudden I changed my mind about everything. Now everything I needed to focus on what was best for them, as opposed to, you know, how I could get myself a new pair of sneakers or whatever, another Xbox. Or,
yeah.
you know,
Some stuff just
Yeah.
becomes bullshit, right?
Yeah.
for sure.
But it's like, and it's funny too. Like at first, it was it took time, a little bit of time. Like and at first, it was hard. Like at first, I had a perspective of like, oh, like sort of material things, like, you know, for myself or for status. That I was like, oh, like I'm gonna miss those so much. But then like the transition became like, oh, wait a minute, like this is way more rewarding. Like watching this person grow up and experience it, like the material things just melted away and didn't really matter anymore. And that was satisfying because life became a little bit more enjoyable because I didn't care if I had those things or not because I had my son, and that's a enriching experience, like and again, it's like, I feel like maybe we have share a common denominator in the fact, like the selfishness, like so not everybody might need that, but like becoming less selfish was overall like one of the best things that happened for my own personality.
Yeah, I felt like I was missing out a lot in the beginning on experiences, i.e. being able to go out, right? You have less time to go out with your friends. You have less time to go hang out whenever you'd like, or for me at the time, play Call of Duty for 10 hours straight.
Right.
It just wasn't feasible anymore. But like you said, after you really get to spend time with your child, you find that that's actually more rewarding. And you don't need to have a child to find this out. Like there are many.
It could be love.
Things.
You could fall in love with somebody and have a connection in that way.
Absolutely, or just find your true passion, right? And if you spend time on that, you find that you don't need other things to help fill that void any longer. Right?
Whatever makes you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think all that stuff. It's kind of different. Like how different life events, like you said, whether falling in love, having children, can kind of like, those big life events can kind of like force that mindset change, or not necessarily force it, but push it into that direction. It's like just like, I think of like it's just like just stages of evolution. And some people, they react differently to it. And it's just kind of neat though to look back, at least when you look back in hindsight and see those like transformative stages in your life, and like how sometimes they were important, or you thought they were important, but maybe not so much anymore, or maybe they're more important now than you thought they were then. You know what I mean? And you're like, you took a situation for granted and you're like, okay, maybe it wasn't, but like, so it impacts you more now than it did then, and vice versa. It can go the other way too. I don't know. I'm just stoned now.
So with the parenting in regards to like leveling up, it's like you gain a new class, like with new abilities.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, now I have the father class.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The new
like,
skill tree opens up, like
exactly.
terrible jokes and
Dad
what
jokes. Like,
no joke.
Yeah, dude.
But see, we don't look at it like that. But I feel like if you do, like when I started looking at my life like this and really recognizing the experience I was getting, it started to work that much more. Just like the women, just like the hotel workers.
Sure.
They were getting exercise XP, if you will, on their physical side, but they weren't actually absorbing it into their body because they didn't realize.
It's like having the XP but not applying it to your skill tree.
For sure.
You're just like letting
you
it.
got the skill
you're just
points,
letting
but
it
you're
sit inside of your main menu. You have like the notification that like you have these attribute points to put down on your tree, but you're not doing it. So like even like
you're just rolling like no new gear, no new
like you're rolling
no armor,
you're rolling double zeros, in Dungeons and Dragons.
One, but you
like,
have 8 million XP points.
Right, exactly.
Unused.
Nah, that shit's fucking.
So instead, we could start using them. And once I started like realizing this, my gains from meditation and stuff became like exponential. Everything became so much different. And it became exciting, right?
Yeah.
Because now I know I'm training. And this is another thing. Our language, like one of the videos I sent you, shape our reality also. The words we use are super, super important. And so now instead of being like, oh, I have to go meditate, or I have to go to the gym, I say I get to go meditate. I get to go train.
Right. Well, just that change in mindset.
That change in word.
And the connotation of the word, like what the word means, and saying it like, what we associate it with, it's like a gift. Like we're giving ourselves a gift.
Well, it was actually you many years ago again. Like you schooled me on so much shit, but like you were the one who taught me actually, Lou, that it was like, words, like why do you think like they like, it's called like spelling, like they put like witches put a spell on you. And like the way you write your words out is spelling, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, you spell your words out like witches and wizards that cast spells. Okay. Like, so the way in which you, like, even spell things, or, like, the way you write words down, like, certain languages themselves have, like, magic behind them and shit based on, like, the origin, and based on like just ancient shit, sometimes people have no idea what they're saying, and like what they're saying is like really like either could be like destructive or like could be beneficial.
Yeah, what you're talking about too with the spells and like the power of like words, like what words mean or something, like
Did that shit fuck you up?
Wasn't there a study like with the plants, like if
Yes.
if like you talk to a plant and say I love you, oh you look so beautiful, and you talk to another plant and you're like say negative mean things to it, like one plant will wither and the other will flourish.
I think I've seen that.
Isn't it,
too.
there's a study done,
for
right?
Sure. There's a doctor. He's a Japanese doctor. I think it's Miyamoto. I don't know why.
Wasn't he the one that did it with the water?
Yes, and he also does.
He does it
experiments
with the water, and
where-
then he froze it. Like, so he was like talking shit to the water, and like, and then they
Essentially.
froze it, and then they'd like look under a microscope at like the crystal structure of the water, and like the one that they talk shit to would have like all fucked up crystal structure. It'd all look all fucked up, and then like the one that they talk nice to, that shit would look like beautiful
Yeah,
and
if you
geometric as fuck,
If you
and
said
like
"I love you" or
like-
if you were, I thank
like
you
all
to
good
it,
affirmations.
they-
Like they were like,
That's fucking wild.
Also,
yeah, dude.
listen to your point about spelling. That you don't. It's not only just your words, because that's a vibration coming out of you that's
Right.
affecting it. But you can write it on paper and stick it on there, and depending on what they wrote on paper and left on the plants, or they did it with rice. It's called the rice experiment.
Well,
And,
so like the intent you have behind writing something is attached to that?
apparently,
That's why I'm
you
saying
can
like
look
that
up the
whole
rice
spell
experiment.
thing. It's like a like put a hex on somebody, like, or you know that all that stuff. Like there's like it doesn't just come out of like thin air. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just somebody who was like, oh, like made it up to like scare kids. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like that
No,
shit
not
is
at
real
all.
as fuck. So
Not
like,
at all.
boom.
But it's cool. It's like all that, those studies, I can see how it relates to mindset in the form of intent. Like whatever your inner intent is, or whatever you can gear your mindset towards, is what like can be put out into the world. And so that's why it's probably important to like understand your own self a little bit, to have the right mindset, you know, and gear yourself towards whatever the day brings you, you know, and that's
Definitely, it's set your own mind, because if not, it's going to be set by someone else or something else.
Right.
Right. Take
And that's the
time
whole
to
point
set
of
your own mind.
being not being an NPC, right?
Yes.
And being a playable
Being
character.
The main character. You
Right.
are the main character in your life, but only if you believe it. Only if
Sure.
you act like it. If not, then you're the side character, or if
I
you're
remember-
lucky, or an NPC.
I can't remember exactly where I was reading it from, but I probably got it from something you recommended, Lou. But you'll probably know when I say it. Like my favorite analogy was always the chess analogy, when like you can be a player on the chessboard, or you can be the person playing chess.
Yeah, right. You're either a pawn. You might
Right.
even be a king if you're
You might
lucky.
even be a king, right?
Why not be the player?
But why not be the player? Exactly. So I can't remember where I
love
read
it.
that, but I remember that stuck with me. I was like, wow, that was some powerful shit.
yeah,
like
bro, that just Tropicana punched me in the face.
yeah, dude. I can't even see out of my eyes right now.
You had to spark two for the 4th of July, didn't you? All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude. I'm fucking definitely gonna have Lou back on.
Lou, you are definitely welcome back on, man. We really appreciate all your insight, and I hope people take away the concept of leveling up, and do you have Instagram for or any plug?
Yeah. My Instagram is MC Academy. So I guess at MC Academy.
MC Academy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, guys, check out at MC Academy.
_Academy. Right.
MC_Academy.
All right.
Check that out on Instagram. And if you guys are interested in the leveling up program, or what's it called?
Yeah. The first one will be Next Level.
Okay.
Next Level program, right? So we can consciously move into the next level.
Oh, yeah. I love that shit.
I'm about it as well.
Yeah,
So.
I'm going to be
Tools,
trying to
tips,
level up, bro.
activities, Mindset changes, whatever you need, and personalized, right? Because not one practice works for everyone.
And we're all. I mean, depending on I think I'd like to think I don't like to like I'm not looking. I like to think everyone's journey is their own. So like everybody's at a different level, assumingly. Some people obviously on the same levels, but like I just assume everybody's on a different level than I am.
Yeah, definitely.
Until you know what I mean. Until you catch the vibration or you see what's up. But like,
yeah, frequencies, shit like that. Yeah,
you'd be like, all right, this guy's or whatever. You kind of know when somebody's there, but
all right, guys,
but I respect it.
We're going to wrap this up. Hey, Lou, thanks for coming on, and thanks for sharing your insight on mindset. And check out his Instagram. We're going to plug that in the description. And, yeah, guys, we'll see you next episode.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. You're welcome on anytime.